I want to repeat this topic around the family table, as well as on my Beyond the Frankfurt School podcast. I will be adding some additional thoughts in this one that are not in the other. The First Amendment is on my mind. Do you ever ask yourself, is the United States really a Christian nation? Well, yes and no. There is the historical part. Our country was founded by a group of men who largely were active, practicing Christians. The communities of the nation at the start, and really until the last 50 years, were largely Christian, though less active or practicing than many would admit. The founders, however, knowing the cost of the 300 previous years of religious wars in Europe, clearly intended and established the foundation of the country on a secular footing. The Constitution would not have been ratified without a First Amendment separating church and state. The founders could not have imagined how successful their experiment in modern liberal self-government would be. They could not have foreseen a country of over 325 million people, not only of all Christian denominations, but of all faiths. Christian, Buddhist, Muslim, Sikh, Baha'i, atheist, Jewish, Hindu, Confucian, and more. This ideologically diverse nation, having benefited so overwhelmingly from the pluralism sustained by our separation of church from state, is the bright city on the hill because we all reap uncountable benefits from loving our neighbors as we love ourselves, in a way that shouts out with every shred of our being, whether we have faith or not, our love for God and all of His creation. There are those who would take this from us. Shallow, mean-spirited people who would shackle us to the religion but not the faith of those original few white men. The command from the founder of their faith and my faith, Jesus, the Messiah, was to take the good news of God's love to all the world. This is a command and a faith of inclusion and welcome that this country was truly founded on. For the family, I want you to know that I think the reality is that while today we are not a Christian nation, it is more because we have adopted postmodernism than any choice any of us makes on the top of the mountain. You see, modernism, and as a result, liberalism and self-governance, democracy and Republican democracy, are closely connected to Christianity in every conceivable way. Start by first realizing that postmodernism is fundamentally a restatement of premodernism. They both share similar, if not identical, fundamental tenets. Both rejects objective truth or accepts many subjective truths. In both philosophies, context, language, and power shape truth. As a result, truth is contingent, constructed, and dependent on which power sphere you exist in. Both reject grand narratives because they lack context and subservience to power. Both favor fragmented local narratives like this or that nation's exceptionalism. Both premodernism and postmodernism reject human autonomy and human ability to rationally understand the world, favoring self-decentered subjects who are shaped by discourse, by culture, and by power structures, the power of individuals in positions of power. Both reject language as a common medium for expressing thought and truth shaped by reality, favoring a view that language is self-referential and shapes reality. Both reject morality as commonly shared agreement on behaviors and intentions that benefit communities and build trust, favoring morals that are relative and context dependent. Finally, pre- and postmodernism reject science and reason as tools for human progress, favoring a view that science and reason are instruments, tools of the power elites to control all others. With this understanding, it is not hard to see how modernism is inextricably linked to Luther's protest against the Roman Catholic Church, which opened the gates for the Protestant Reformation, which opened the gates to the Enlightenment, which 2 centuries later spawned the ideas that became modernism. Without this whole chain of events, there would have been no American Revolution, or the ideas that became our Constitution and our Republican form of democratic self-government. The only question really has ever been whether a philosophy so linked to Christianity and European, especially English history, can survive in a world that has become increasingly non-Christian, non-European, and especially non-English. My hope has always been that modernism, liberalism, and self-government were the irresistible force. My impression, based on events over the last 30 years, is that my hope was baseless. It appears modernism cannot survive in this new world. As we freefall toward autocracy, the evidence is mounting that future generations, now born and controlling the culture of the nation, have embraced the autocracies of postmodernism. Autocrats or party-driven bureaucrats, just as those in the pre-modern world prior to 1776 embraced the monarchy and papist autocracies born of that culture. There are no off-ramps or paths to return to what once was. Where we are is simply the first step to where we will be. God is in control. Oh well.